My name is Ethan Chen. I'm 32, and I moved to Seattle a few months ago for a new job in tech. Good pay, great benefits, a modern apartment downtown, everything I thought I wanted. But if you asked me what I've really been feeling, it's not fulfillment. It's not even stress. It's confusion. A quiet, persistent fog that hangs around no matter how hard I work or how much I earn. I remember one evening in particular. It was late autumn, and Seattle's skies had been pouring for days. My apartment felt like a box, too quiet, too clean, and too disconnected from anything real. So I decided to go for a hike. Dumb idea. The trails near Mount Si aren't forgiving in storm weather, but I didn't care. I thought if I could just get out, breathe a bit of cold air, maybe I'd feel something clear, something grounded. About an hour into the hike, I slipped. Mud soaked through my jeans, and the cold bit through my coat. My flashlight flickered. I sat there, in the middle of nowhere, my back against a slick rock, staring at the endless gray of the forest. It was dead quiet except for the rain tapping the leaves. And that's when the thoughts started coming in. What am I doing with my life? What's the point of all this? I left behind my family, my old friends, traded it all for some vague idea of success. But for what? I work 12 hours a day writing code I barely understand for a company whose vision statement sounds like a joke. I eat alone, sleep alone, wake up alone. The world keeps moving, but none of it seems to mean anything. People say, you just need time, or it gets better, but what if it doesn't? What if this hollow routine, is all there is? When I got back to my apartment, my boots dripping and hands numb, I flopped onto the couch and stared at the ceiling. My mind was loud with questions. Ultimate questions. Why live if we're all going to die? Why strive if nothing lasts? These aren't just depressive ramblings. They're the kind of thoughts that creep in when everything else gets quiet. And the scariest part is, I'm not alone in this. A lot of people I talk to, friends back home, coworkers, even strangers online, have admitted they feel the same. Lost. Aimless. Unsure of why we do what we do. But here's the thing. This kind of questioning didn't always exist. If you asked a farmer in 13th century China what the meaning of life was, he wouldn't sit you down for a TED Talk. He'd tell you, work hard, honor your parents, follow the emperor's law. Simple, structured, predictable. His place in the world was clear. Same with a European in the Middle Ages. Life had rules. The church explained everything. Birth, sin, suffering, death. There were rituals. There was a plan. But now, ask someone our age, and you'll either get a sarcastic laugh or a shrug. Who knows? They'll say, or worse, does it even matter? This is the paradox of the modern world. We've gained freedom, but lost certainty. We've broken the old myths and thrown away the dusty traditions, but in their place we've built nothing, just algorithms and ambitions, work schedules and online personas. And so we wander. We buy things we don't need, chase goals we don't understand, hoping that maybe, just maybe, one of them will feel like meaning. But it never does. Not really. That rainy hike didn't give me any answers. But it made me realize that these questions, the ones about purpose, death, truth, they're not symptoms of failure. They're signs of being human in the modern age. We're all out here in the storm, trying to find our footing. After that stormy hike, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was broken, not in me, but in how we all see the world. I started reading more, thinking more, not just about work or personal growth, but about how we even got here. This strange era where we can do almost anything, but still feel so unsure about everything. The way we understand time, for instance, has completely changed. My grandfather used to say that life was a circle. You're born, you grow up, you work, you die, and your children repeat the cycle. But that's not how we think anymore. Modern people, people like me, we don't live in circles. We live in arrows. Always forward. Always aiming for more. More money. More success. More experiences. We don't return to anything. We don't believe in cycles. We believe in progress. This shift sounds like a win, right? It feels empowering at first, but over time, it wears you down. Because when you're moving in a straight line towards something undefined, you eventually realize there's no destination. Just speed, just pressure, just motion for motion's sake. And when the present starts to feel meaningless, we try to look back, try to borrow from the past. But it doesn't work. The experience of previous generations doesn't help us. Their rules don't apply anymore. My grandfather's advice about family, honor, and patience made sense in his world. But in mine, where layoffs happen overnight, where relationships are one swipe away, and loyalty rarely pays off, that advice feels out of place. We're flying through a storm with no map. How did this happen? I thought back to high school history, the Enlightenment, the Renaissance, the Industrial Revolution. These movements didn't just bring us inventions, they changed our entire value system. They replaced mystery with logic, faith with facts. They told us we didn't need kings or gods. We had reason now. We had science. And science does work. It's brilliant. It cured diseases, flew us to the moon, shrank the world into the size of a phone screen. I rely on it every day. I work in tech, after all. But here's the twist. Science can do a lot of things, but it can't tell us why to live. It can extend your life, but not give it meaning. It can measure brain waves, but not explain love. It can offer data, but not decisions. Think of it this way. Imagine someone is terminally ill. Their family is told they can be kept alive with machines, but they'll be in pain, unaware, unable to recover. Science can tell you the odds. It can run simulations, but it won't tell you what to choose. Is it better to let someone go peacefully or fight for every second of breath? Science can't answer that. And this is the problem. We replaced belief with logic, but logic doesn't comfort us in crisis. It doesn't help us grieve. It doesn't give us purpose. And yet we treat science like it's a new kind of religion, one that just hasn't caught up yet. We say, science will explain it eventually. But some things can't be explained. They can only be felt. Our ancestors had gods, spirits, heavens. They had rituals that made death less terrifying, festivals that made life feel magical. My grandmother used to light incense and talk to her ancestors. Even if no one answered, she felt heard. Now, we don't pray, we Google. And if Google doesn't have the answer, we assume there isn't one. And that's why so many of us are anxious. Not because we don't know, but because we expect to know. We expect everything to make sense. And when it doesn't, we panic. But maybe the problem isn't the questions we ask. Maybe it's the assumption that all of them need answers. I started to realize that even if we don't believe in old gods anymore, we still need something. Something that connects us to the world, to each other, to a sense of meaning. Science gave us power, but it also gave us loneliness. And until we find a way to bridge that gap between knowing and believing, we'll keep spinning in this forward, moving arrow, unsure where it's pointing. A few weeks after that hike, I had dinner with a former college roommate, Ryan. He's doing well, really well. Runs his own company now, lives in a condo with a view of Lake Union, drives a sleek German car. The whole you made it package. But halfway through dinner, he mentioned something strange. I'm bringing in a feng shui master to rearrange my office, he said, half joking, half serious. Business has been weird lately. I figured couldn't hurt. I laughed. Then I paused. This guy, a data-driven CEO, trusting the flow of energy through a doorway? But I got it. Because deep down, we all hit points where logic runs dry. We crave something else, some sense that the universe is listening, that there's a thread tying things together. And when life feels too random, even the most rational minds turn to luck, fate, or a whisper from something unseen. People think superstition is just for the uneducated. But if that's true, why do the rich, the powerful, the hyper-educated still seek it out? Because money and power don't answer everything. They can't fix a failing marriage. They can't heal a loved one. They can't bring peace during an existential spiral at 3 a.m. At some point, everyone realizes that there are problems so raw, so deeply human, that no amount of control will ever solve them. In the past, belief systems offered comfort. Religion, myth, tradition, they gave people stories. And stories gave people answers. But now, we don't really believe in those stories anymore. Take holidays. People complain that Christmas doesn't feel the same, that New Year's is just fireworks and champagne. It's not nostalgia, it's erosion. The magic is gone because we stopped believing in what the rituals once stood for. There's no Santa Claus, no gods watching over, no invisible hands pulling strings. Just algorithms, sale events, and sponsored Instagram posts. When we killed the myths, we also killed the meaning. And in their place, silence. Even kids grow up faster now. Some 7-year-old out there just learned from a TikTok video that Santa doesn't exist. That same kid will learn about heartbreak and burnout before they turn 15. It's like the curtain got pulled back on everything too soon, and all we're left with is the cold machinery behind the stage. And without a shared belief system, what replaces it? Arguments. Online, in comment sections, on social media, everyone is saying something, but no one agrees on anything. The rise of the arguer has become our new norm. You say something, someone fights it. You post a thought, and 10 strangers dissect it like vultures. We no longer speak to understand. We speak to win. I've learned not to reply anymore. Not because I don't care, but because I've realized most of these fights aren't about facts. They're about values. And values? They're messy. They're not measurable like height or income. They're felt, shaped by upbringing, culture, trauma. Two people can look at the same event and come to totally different conclusions, not because one's wrong, but because their lenses are built from different lives. Take this simple idea: you should work hard. To one person, that means striving for excellence and pride. To another, it means slavery to capitalism. Who's right? Depends on what you believe work is for. That's the trap. We think we're debating facts, but we're not. We're clashing over values we no longer share. And when there's no shared center, every conversation becomes a battlefield. This is the cost of freedom, freedom from old traditions, old gods, old rules. We gained the right to choose our own beliefs, but we lost the comfort of believing together. It's not just about gods or ghosts. It's about connection, a thread of meaning that binds one life to the next. Without it, we're just bouncing off each other in a storm of noise. The more I thought about it, the more I realized modern freedom is not what we think it is. You hear it everywhere. Be yourself. Do what makes you happy. Choose your own path. It sounds empowering. And in theory, it is. We live in a time where you can become almost anything: an artist, a coder, a travel vlogger, a yoga instructor in Bali. You can pursue fame, chase money, live in the woods, or never leave your apartment. And no one can stop you. But here's the catch: no one can guide you either. I remember scrolling through a Reddit thread where someone asked, "How do you know you're making the right life choice?" Most of the answers were vague or ironic. The most upvoted ones simply said, "You don't. You just do what feels right." That's it. We're all just making it up as we go. There was something terrifying about that idea. Not because I want someone to make choices for me, but because deep down, I, like most people, want to believe there's a best choice. A right one. A path with meaning. But in a world where value systems are fractured and beliefs are optional, you don't get that kind of certainty. You get preference. Why do I live this way? Because I like it. Why did I quit that job? Because it didn't feel right. This because I like it reasoning has become the default answer to everything. And while it seems like freedom, it also reveals a painful truth. People don't know why they do what they do. They're just guessing. Worse, we often doubt our own choices after making them. Maybe this wasn't the right job. Maybe I should have stayed in that relationship. Maybe I took the wrong path entirely. We carry that uncertainty like a second skin. In theory, diversity of lifestyle is great. In practice, it often feels like being dropped into a vast open field with no signs, no trails, no map. Everyone's going in different directions, and you can't tell who's wandering and who's actually headed somewhere. To cope with this chaos, we found a new compass: money. Think about it. People argue about almost everything: politics, relationships, health, happiness. But when it comes to money, there's an eerie consensus. No one debates whether it matters. Everyone agrees it does. Money became the one value we all share. You might not know what career is best, what love means, or what purpose to pursue, but you can track your salary. You can compare your income. You can measure your net worth. Money feels solid in a world of vapor. But that agreement hides something darker: the rise of what philosophers call instrumental rationality, doing things in the most effective, efficient way to reach a specific goal. We use it every day. Want to lose weight? Count calories. Want to get promoted? Maximize output. Want to travel more? Optimize your budget and schedule. It's about how to do things, not why to do them. Let me put it this way. Imagine you want to travel from Seattle to Denver. The fastest way is a plane. That's instrumental rationality. Calculate the best method and go. Now imagine you're unsure if you should even go to Denver in the first place. That's value rationality, asking whether the goal itself makes sense. In today's world, we spend all our energy on the how and almost none on the why. We're obsessed with being faster, smarter, more productive, but what are we producing? Why do we need to get there quickly? Where are we even going? Workplaces, schools, even relationships have adopted this mindset. KPI is king. Productivity is virtue. Efficiency is God. But when you maximize speed without purpose, you don't become free. You become a cog. A fast, smart, optimized cog. I saw this happen at my last company. Brilliant people burning out. Not because they were lazy or weak, but because they couldn't see the point anymore. They hit their goals. They delivered their metrics. But they still felt empty. Because efficiency without meaning is just a treadmill. No matter how fast you run, you're still in place. If you look at modern society from a distance, it's breathtaking. Everything moves with precision. Packages arrive in a day. You can order groceries at 2 a.m. and get them before sunrise. You can track your calories, your sleep cycles, your mood, your productivity, everything optimized. It's impressive, but it comes with a cost. We've built a machine so efficient that people themselves have become the gears. I started feeling it more clearly at work. I'm a software engineer, right? So everything I do is about optimization, speed, scale, impact. But somewhere along the way, I started feeling like a tool, a replaceable part, not a person. Every meeting is about velocity. Every task is broken into sprints and story points. You're not asked how you feel. You're asked how many tickets you closed. Performance reviews read like data reports. Ethan completed 96% of his goals. Great. But what does that mean? We used to walk through life on two legs, meaning and efficiency. But one of those legs is now broken, and no one's rushing to fix it. We limp forward, half functional, pretending everything's fine. And in the middle of all this, money, the ultimate lubricant for the machine. People say money isn't everything, but watch how the world moves. People relocate for it, sacrifice health for it, compromise relationships for it. It's the one thing we can all agree is worth chasing. Why? Because in a world ruled by instrumental rationality, money is the most versatile tool of all. It gets you results. Friedrich Simmel once said money is like God. Everyone believes in it, and everyone can use it in their own way. That part makes sense. But he also warned that money is only a bridge to deeper values. You can't live on the bridge. Your soul can't settle there. I think about that a lot, because sometimes I look around and realize most of us are living on that bridge, waiting for something more, something richer than a direct deposit and a dental plan. But we never get off. Why? Because society isn't just a machine. It's an assembly line. From school to work to death, we pass through stations. Elementary school trains you to sit still. High school trains you to compete. College teaches you how to network. Work teaches you how to survive. The names change. The expectations shift. But the pattern stays the same. Even our language has changed. Human resources? Since when did people become resources? Talent market? When did we start auctioning off personality? We dress it up with friendly office perks, beanbags, kombucha, flexible hours, but we're still measuring people like products. We ask kids what they want to be, but what we really mean is, what kind of cog do you want to become? We're birds born among dragons. That's how Max Weber put it. We dream of flying, but we're trained to crawl. And yet, this machine works. That's the haunting part. It gives us safety, predictability, comfort. Without it, there'd be chaos. You wouldn't be reading this. I wouldn't have a warm place to sleep tonight. We wouldn't have hospitals, infrastructure, food delivery apps. So we stay in the machine. We sacrifice freedom for stability. And most of the time, we convince ourselves it's enough. But sometimes, late at night, something breaks through. The silence, the stillness, the realization that we've been living on autopilot, that we've been trained to chase things we never chose, that we lost ourselves somewhere between deadlines and debt. And that's when the darkness comes. That feeling of pointlessness, that whisper, is this all there is? And let's be honest, sometimes the answer feels like yes. But giving in to that despair, that's the easy way out. The coward's path. You've probably heard Romain Rolland's line before. The only true heroism is to love life after knowing what it really is. That line stuck with me, because I think it's true. You don't have to be optimistic. You don't have to fake joy. But once you see life clearly, its cruelty, its randomness, its hollowness, if you still choose to show up, to care, to create something kind or beautiful or honest. That's courage. That's rebellion. No, I don't have the answer. I'm not here to sell you a purpose. I can't tell you what to believe or where to go. All I know is this. The ways we hate life are often the same: burnout, regret, emptiness. But the ways we love it, those are deeply personal, unique, sacred. Maybe it's a morning walk before work. Maybe it's painting, even if no one buys your art. Maybe it's reading stories like this, or writing your own. Whatever it is, find it, protect it, love it. Because the truth of life may never change, but your response to it can. And that might be enough. Thanks for staying with me through all this. If this resonated with you, I hope you'll keep going. Keep questioning. Keep feeling. I'm Ethan Chen, and I'll see you next time.